The Wind River Range is one of my most favorite places in all the world. The high country fishing can be legendary. I made my very first trip here in 1992. Most of my recent trips have been to one basin on the southeast side out of Lander. The last time I fished and hiked the west side of the range was 2013. For this trip, my main focus was to fish a couple of lakes on the Scab Creek Trail in the southern part of the range. This ended up being day number 2. For day number 1, I needed an easier destination to acclimate. One of the challenges with the west side is there are very few good fishing lakes within the normal 3 to 5 mile day hike range of the trailheads. With only a few exceptions, most of the better lakes on the west side are over 9 miles in. One lake I've been interested in for many years is Lower Sweeney. It lies just outside the wilderness boundary and is said to have above average sized cutthroat. This lake is actually recommended in the Wyoming Game and Fish West Central Wyoming Day Trip Guide. However, I wasn't sure if there was a trail or not. Most maps show no trail directly to the lake, others show a ski trail. I assume that since this lake was mentioned as a recommended destination in a Wyoming Game and Fish publication, there would be a trail. This happened 3 or 4 years ago, I think in early September 2020, 2021. I ran into more of it here, maybe 300 or 400 yards back. This is the Pole Creek Trail out of Elkhart Park. Okay. So the Pole Creek Trail continues. The wilderness boundary is just up ahead. I don't even know if it's 1/8 of a mile. And this isn't very well signed here, but I believe this is the trail I'm looking for. My destination is Lower Sweeney. And so either this is it, or I'm about to make a wrong turn and get lost. So the very faint trail that I was needing to take back there, it faded into a bunch of blowdowns, I assume from that 2020-2021 event. I scouted around. The trail was already faint to begin with, but I couldn't pick up the trail. So I'm continuing on the Pole Creek Trail here. I'm at the wilderness boundary. So the alternate plan is going to be Middle End or Upper Sweeney. So I believe this is Miller Park that I'm hiking through right now. All right, here's my fork. The left goes over to Photographer's Point and then meets back up with the Pole Creek Trail, and then the right fork goes to Miller and the Middle and Upper Sweeney Lake, which is where I'm headed. So this is Miller Lake, and the trail goes down over here, drops down, crosses the outlet, and it goes back up. And Middle Sweeney is going to be over that ridge, I think. All right, so I'm at Middle Sweeney. My DeLorme Earthmate says it's like 5.07 miles in here, which seems more than I thought. Oh well, it is what it is. Some of that I was screwing around trying to find that other trail, but this is the camp. This is one of the campsites here at Middle Sweeney, and it. Myself, Dave Whittorf, JC Dover, can't remember who else, Neil, was with us on that trip, and we camped here in this spot. This was in 2010 or 2011 as we were going into Pole Creek. Yeah. So the lake's right down here. I'll show it to you here in a minute. So good morning. It is Tuesday, July 16th, 2024. If you haven't figured it out, I'm in the Wind River Range in west central Wyoming. I'm in the Bridger Wilderness. I'm on the west side. I'm at Middle Sweeney Lake. It's about a 5-mile hike in here, which is more than I thought. It's my first hike of the season. Yeah, I came in from Elkhart. Took me about 2.5 hours to get in here, which is about right for 5 miles. So I didn't do bad on the time. I've had a lot of issues hiking in these mountains before. On one of my trips in here with some friends in 2010, we came in here, and I have a lot of issues with altitude sickness in these mountains. Today I haven't had the issue, but I am trying something new. I am susceptible to altitude sickness, and I seem to get it reliably over about 9,500 feet. You can usually set your watch to it. And so one of the things that I did is I'm taking, one of the things you can do to try to prevent it is you can take high doses of ibuprofen. And what that means is, the key is you have to take 3 tablets, and you have to take it 6 hours before you start hiking. So I took 3 at 2 a.m. this morning, and then after that you take 3 tablets every 8 hours until you're acclimated. So I took 3 at 2 a.m. I took another 3 in here about an hour and a half ago, and I made it in. I am getting tired. It's of course my first hike of the year, and I don't know, this lake is, I don't know, 9650, 97, 98, something like that. So my destination was actually Lower Sweeney, which is supposed to have very nice sized cutthroat in it. I don't think there's a maintained trail to it though. I tried following a ski trail in, but it's not really meant for hiking. It's meant for skiing, and what little trail there was got lost in the blowdowns from a couple years ago. I did run into a fish and game warden right after that, and he told me, he said, yeah, it's kind of a bushwhack in there. And he said there's a trail that kind of takes off, a maintained trail that takes off at the outlet of of Miller Lake, which I found. I found that trail, and it actually goes back to Elkhart. Yeah, but and then from there you've got to kind of bushwhack over to Lower Sweeney. And first hike of the year, you know, and didn't know how I was going to deal with the altitude and all that, so I just figured out, let's go to Middle Sweeney. The good news is about Middle Sweeney and the Upper Sweeney is they have goldens in them, golden trout. The bad news is they can be difficult to catch. So we'll see. This was the idea in here. I'm actually camped down at Scab Creek, at the Scab Creek campground. And there's some lakes in there I want to fish. More of a climb, so I felt like this was a better hike. Yeah, anyway, so I'm going to rig up and see if I can catch a golden out of here. I don't see any fish activity whatsoever. So I'm guessing I'll probably start off with straight line nymphing. So anyway, more to come. Okay, it's 11:30. I'm rigged up ready to fish. Caddis on the water. I'm actually also seeing some mayfly duns on the water, probably calabatus. Haven't seen any surface activity. I do see the caddis moving though on the water. Probably travelers that are ovipositing. I see a few of those. This in here, there's a shoal out here, and then kind of a deeper place in here. So I thought this looked good. Thought I'd give this a good try. So I'm just going to try straight line nymphing. I've got a black two-tone buzzer on the point, and the dropper there is a red holographic Nemo, which is a version of the Cruncher, which is a UK pattern, basically one of their soft hackles. Not a lot of room for back casting, so it's going to be roll casting for me. See what we can do here. There's some deeper water in this area. And so you just throw it out there, you let it sit. There's another caddis over there. Not seeing any fish chase him though. And then you just give it a kind of a slow retrieve. And I hooked up on a rock already, which isn't good. And hopefully I didn't lose the fly. Looks like I did. Nope, I didn't. Real good. Okay, all right. So I let it sit a little too long, and it hooked a rock on that shoal over there. And apparently I did it again. And I got lucky again. How about that? Oh, so it's about 12:15. I fished around the lake a little bit, and not a lot, but nothing, not even a bite. I saw maybe one or two fish rise, that was it. A lot of leeches in this lake, a lot of leeches. I gathered some water and I saw some more. I saw some more while I was fishing. Maybe a little bit of weather moving in, I don't know. I'm going to have some lunch, and I'll probably leave around 2-ish. I am hurting a little bit, probably from the altitude a little bit, so I'll have a little bit of lunch and rest, maybe fish a little bit, and then head back out. Yeah, we've got some weather moving in. All right, I'm on the trail. Headed back to the trailhead via Miller Lake. Middle Sweeney, departing shot. Well, I'm at Miller Lake, right off the trail. Under a stand of trees waiting out a storm here. We got a mixture of rain and hail. Pretty good storm in here. Usually if it's light I'll hike right through it, but this one kind of turned into a pretty heavy heavy downpour with hail and some thunder, so I'm waiting it out. Pretty cool. It's temperature in here is probably about 50 degrees with this. Almost a gully washer. I'm on my way out, and there's the junction with the Pole Creek Trail back to the trailhead. Of course, I can't get a picture of them all day because of the weather, and as soon as I get out on the access road, we've got decent weather. So there you go. That peak right there is Fremont Peak. The western half of the Wind River Range includes a bench that roughly runs parallel to the range's high peaks. This bench is generally 10 to 15 miles in width and runs between 9,400 and 10,500 foot in elevation. It is this bench that the access trails climb up onto as they head toward the Continental Divide. The southern part of this bench, immediately to the west of Raid Peak and Mount Bonneville, features an incredible vast open area of rolling meadows filled with lakes. It is incredibly scenic, with most of the lakes featuring excellent fishing, and travel is easy once you've made the climb up onto the bench. The western edge of this bench in this area is timbered and includes a group of lakes: Little Divide, Monroe, Star, Scab, and others, many of which offer big fish. The Scab Creek Trail provides the most direct access to this area and the vast rolling meadows beyond. It's not the easiest trail, however. Starting at an elevation of 8,200 feet, it climbs 1,100 feet in its first 2 miles. This initial climb is split into 2 sections. Both sections are very steep, with the second part featuring a very rocky trail. The CalTopo map suggests that once the initial climb is over, there is a 300 to 400 foot gradual ascent for a little over 3 miles before reaching Little Divide Lake. I was prepared for all of this with a map showing I could make Little Divide Lake at 5.2 miles in a long day hike, but sometimes the maps don't tell you everything, and sometimes they even lie. So this apparently is the easy spot, the easy part in between the 2 big climbs. So I've just completed my first big climb and I'm on this section here, and then I've got another big climb in front of me. Big climb in front of me before getting up on top of the bench. Okay, I believe this is the start of the second pull, the second climb from the campground, or from the trailhead. Yep, one more steep pull to go, and then I'm kind of on top of the bench, so here we go. Okay, I've completed the second climb, and I'm in here, I don't know, 2.2 miles, something like that. I'm on the Scab Creek Trail. Very steep trail coming out of the trailhead. It climbs something like 1,000 or 1,100 feet in the first 2 miles. But then it moderates, and I don't know, let's see. I don't know what my DeLorme Earth made. I'm probably about 9,200, something like that. And so the lake that I'm headed to, Little Divide, which is probably a little under 3 miles ahead, it's only about 300 feet higher. So this is definitely a get it over with climb. And I should be coming to another one of the toboggan lakes here in short order. Okay. So this is one of the toboggan lakes, toboggan number 3. There's a whole bunch of these. A few of them have fish. That one is listed as having brook trout, and I noticed when I came up down here and the trail turns, there's a beaten footpath. It's very faint, but it looks like it gets to that lake in short order. Just looking at it, don't know how fishable it is with all the lily pads and stuff around it. Just really don't know if you could get a line out there. Further beyond, somewhere over in there, there's another lake. It's called Jack's. It's another one of the toboggan lakes, one of the bigger ones, and it allegedly has brook trout and cutthroat in there. Yeah, interesting. Another one of the toboggan lakes. Looks like the trail goes around and over that way. Well, I've seen a bunch of grouse, and I just ran into a bear. I haven't run into a bear on a trail in a long time. Apparently it heard me before I saw it, because when I saw it, it was right here. It was turning tail and running. Looked like a black bear. Yeah, so I'm kind of taking it easy going up through here. I talked to it. It turned tail and ran, which I thought was good. So yeah. Well, good morning. It's 11:15 a.m. I'm in the Wind River Range. I'm on the Scab Creek Trail, and I should be kind of getting close to Little Divide Lake. Yeah, I've had an interesting morning. This trail is a lot tougher than I thought it would be. Plus, I spooked a bear, and looked to be a black bear. It's only about 50 yards in front of me, and he turned and ran, or she turned and ran, which was good. Yep. So I don't know, I'm within half a mile, quarter of a mile of Little Divide, I think. I saw one hiker going out, one backpacker going out who had run out of food. And then I just saw a pack train on the way out. So this trail, I've been wanting to do this trail for a long time because I've heard good things about these lakes in here. But this is one of those trails where the map doesn't tell you everything. Switch hands here. Yeah, it climbs about 1,000 or 1,100 feet in the first 2 miles out of the trailhead, which I was ready for that. I knew about that, but looking at the map after that, you know, because you're up at 9,300 feet, the map suggests that it's just a gentle climb the rest of the way in here. Well, So CalTopo has the distance at 5.2 miles, and I'm pushing 6 already. Got my DeLorme Earthmate on, tracking this, laying a track, and it's going to be 6 miles in here. I expected to be in here at 10:30. Yeah, or maybe 11, I guess. I don't know. 2.5 hours. Yeah, 10:30. Yeah, it's gonna take me a full hour. And anyway, going back to the trail. The issue with the trail is that after you complete those 2 big climbs, you have about 5 or 6. The trail just goes up and down, and it's basically going through each of these toboggan lake basins. So every one, you're dropping into rocky basin, and you're climbing out of a rocky basin. And so after and don't get me wrong, they're short climbs, but they're quite steep and rocky. So after you've done those 2 big climbs coming out of the campground, yeah, I wasn't really ready for that. So anyway, more to come. All right, so here we are, a little divide, and there's people here. 6 miles in. Took me 3.5 hours to get here. I need to find a place to fish, preferably somewhere that's got shade, but we'll see. Well, it's 12:45 p.m. I've done a little bit of fishing down on this side of the lake, and I haven't had even a bite. I've seen a couple fish rising. Looks like it's fairly deep in places out here. This lake has supposed to have brook trout, rainbow trout, and cutthroats, and probably some hybrids. So I'm gonna eat a little bit of lunch. I don't, because it took so long to get in here, I have to plan on probably 3 hours out, so I need to be out of here by about 3 at the latest, to make it back. I figure it'll be a little faster going out than coming in, but not much, because it's so rocky. But anyway, I'm gonna have a little bit of lunch, and I may put on a sink tip, and I may also try hanging a couple flies under an indicator. That might, those are the only things I can think of. So maybe I'll try an hour each or half an hour each or something with those, and go from there. So long hike in here, pretty lake, pretty place. There's people here. There's a group of people fishing, and it looks like, I'm guessing it looked like they went over to Pine Island, which isn't very far. It's about half a mile from here. So anyway, more to come. So as you can see, there's fish rising. So on this one, I've got a 3-foot sink tip. A 3-foot sink tip and about a 10-foot leader. And the flies, I've got a black dial bach on the point, and the red hollow Nemo above it is the dropper. Well, here we go. Looks like a brookie. So I've just been straight line nymphing here, and I've got the sink tip on. I missed one here a little bit ago. He had I got a right at the end as I picked up, he struck and I missed him. I should have fished the hang a little bit better, but no matter. So we got a little brookie here. He's not huge. 10 or 11 inches maybe. Pretty little brookie. Oh yeah, he's a good 11. There we go, pretty little brookie. Yep, not huge, little male. Yep. Back you go. So I have this rod rigged up with an indicator and 2 nymphs under it. A chronomid on the point actually, and then a green cheek dial Bach on the dropper. Tough lake. Straight line nymphing now. I've been kind of alternating between that and hanging nymphs under an indicator. I have both rods rigged up, but it's been tough. I've only had the one fish and then one other strike. Well, I'm going to pack up and grab some water. This is a little divide. Tough day up here. I talked to a couple people that had been down fishing Pine Island and the one below it. And they said Pine Island was kind of slow, but the one below it was all right, so. I laid a track on my way in with my DeLorme Earthmate GPS. It puts the hike at 6.02 miles. Note the difference between the CalTopo map and profile and my DeLorme track profile, particularly in regards to climb elevation. Some of this may be the difference in sampling, but I believe the CalTopo map underreports the elevation gain and loss while climbing through each of the toboggan lake basins. In summary, this was one of the most strenuous day hikes I have ever done in 42 years.